Oh, we're live. Greetings, kids. Thanks for turning us on. It is, what the heck day is it? It's a Tuesday. I'm sure it's Tuesday. We just got news. This is terrible. I mean, this is terrible news, guys. Today is National Sit With a Stranger Day. And here I am. Here I am sitting with Marty Lancton, the fire union president. You're not a stranger. I need strangers in here. This isn't going to work. Also in the studio right now, Ethan Buchanan is here from KTRH News, evening host on Sundays on KPRC Radio. Marty, a lot going on at the moment. This is going to be a very Houston-centric broadcast. If you're just tuning in, this is all about Harris County and Southeast Texas. A lot going on. Coming up in a little bit, Christian Collins is joining us shortly. He is the organizer of the Texas Youth Summit. And for those who do not know, I've spoken there many times over the past few years, and Charlie Kirk joined us more than once. I've shared a stage with the legend, now a martyr for Christian conservatism. And Marty, before we get even started with the latest news about Lena Hidalgo dropping out, you're running for Harris County judge. You are right now considered to be the Republican frontrunner for Harris County judge primary candidacy. And as a conservative, it's a weird time to be alive, isn't it?
It is. You know, everything we've seen the last week or so is when you have disagreements about policy issues, you talk to people. You have a discussion. You can have a difference of opinion, but what we have seen is just outright not only dangerous, but it's unacceptable. And our thoughts and prayers go out to Charlie's wife and his kids. We have dialogue. Somebody that's willing to go and have a dialogue that's different than yours and go sit in front of people. That's what America is about. And I'll tell you what, it is. It's chilling to think about the effect that the polarizing left has when they disagree with somebody's position. It's unacceptable. It's not American, and we're not going to stand for it.
Here in Harris County, here in Houston, not long ago, we had a music festival called Astro World. And look, Astro World and the Texas Youth Summit or Turning Point USA might not seem like they have anything in common, but they certainly do. It's a lot of young people getting together. Yep. And, you know, as we saw at that college in Utah the other day, these can be very dangerous places when large people gather together. We wonder if we're safe all the time. We've been told over and over again not to worry about crime. Crime is down right now, but a lot of people that study this stuff a little more closely than I do have pointed out to me part of the reason why crime is technically down right now isn't because we're any safer. It's because of the way they're calculating crime statistics. Would you agree with that?
I would. Listen, I think if you go ask any Harris County resident out there right now and say, do you feel like crime is an issue in Harris County? 100% they will tell you it is. And if you don't feel safe, nothing else matters, which is why, unless you have been on the streets serving the citizens of Houston and Harris County and taking care of the people when they need it the most, I don't listen to talking heads and politicians that have never been on the streets in the communities and trying to make them safer. We need a safe, strong Harris County, and I'm going to tell you, we're not there. And so crime is absolutely the highest issue. Public safety is something that we should live, and as taxpayers, that should be the absolute priority in government, to make sure that the citizens are safe. And we know that that's not happening under this current administration.
All right, so a lot of people do blame local political leaders for how that music festival went a few years back. Suddenly, to me, it seems like it's a relevant discussion to have again. You talked about it the last time you were here in this studio. If we had a big music festival today in Houston, Texas, if we had a big political summit for young conservatives today in Houston, Texas, what would we do differently than what they did a few years ago when all those people died?
Well, I mean, first of all, you all know, and if you don't, after the Astroworld incident, children should not die at a concert. Period.
It's
end of
crazy.
story.
Absolutely.
And Governor Abbott appointed me on his task force, and I was unapologetic on the national level. We can no longer hide behind saying things of we should be doing this. We need to be acting. We need to be taking care of the community, taking care of the people, and ensuring we have the proper things in place if we're having a mass gathering. That's why I fought for it at the legislature. That's why it's different here. Majority of the municipalities, and even in Harris County, by state law, has to have a permit, and you need to have a plan. But really, the broader question here is where have we come to in society when we can no longer have a disagreement or have a discussion about our policy issues? That is what I think people are most tired of. They are tired of people that are virtue signaling all the time. And the people that are willing to have these dialogues and conversations, that is what the heartbeat of America is. And that's what we saw Charlie do all around the U.S. and engage younger demographic to say, listen, challenge your ideas, challenge your thoughts. Here's what the Republican Party stands for. Here's what we can do. And by the way, where it comes at the local level, I've always said, I believe politics 100% is local. I think it's the most important. It's the things that impact the citizens every day, their day-to-day lives, and they're tired of the noise and the BS. What they want is good government, somebody that when they speak up, words matter, and that trust is earned. It's not something that should be given because somebody got one more vote than the other person.
All right, let's talk about this for a minute. So your opponent is no longer your opponent. Lena Hidalgo is arguably the most powerful Democrat Party elected official in the state of Texas. Sure, we have lawmakers, obviously, Jasmine Crockett, obviously these people exist, Al Green, but they don't really have the influence or the power that the executive of the largest county in the state has. That is Lena Hidalgo. Lena Hidalgo skipped out of work last week to go to a Hans Zimmer concert. I didn't even know what that was. I guess it's like hospital music or something like that. She raised taxes. She wanted to raise taxes again. I might remind you, she made that point about raising property taxes or raising taxes in general right after arguing or trying to get pity from all of us by telling us she couldn't afford to own a home here.
Which I'm shocked at that comment. First of all, somebody that lived, born, raised, and I raised my son here in Harris County. I come from the working class, and I've worked 3 and 4 jobs to support my family. And for somebody to say that they can't live off the salary of the Harris County judge is mind-blowing, and it just shows you where the priorities are and how she deals with her budget. And we see the budget deficits. We see money being spent where it's not supposed to. And public safety, crime, #1 issue. If you're not solving that and you're not lowering the crime rate, you're not making families feel safer when they're walking on the streets, nothing else is going to matter. And you have to deal with other things that are the responsibility of county government, which is infrastructure, disaster mitigation. We got a lot of natural disasters, a lot of floods. You need people that are going to lead during an emergency, and we're going to do that. And so we look forward to having these dialogues and discussions. But at the end of the day, Harris County is ready for a change. They're ready for responsible leadership. And that's what my campaign is going to be about. And that's what we're going to do when we take back Harris County in November.
All right, bottom line, Marty, Lena Hidalgo dropping out right now. The rumor is there's something wrong with Sylvia Garcia. Congresswoman Sylvia Garcia is sick. Supposedly now we hear that's not true, I'm told. I don't know. I don't have a direct line of contact with prominent Democrats. So they don't talk to me. Do you know who was supposed to be here today? James Tallarico was supposed to do this show today. And
that would have been you were going to have him on the show?
He blew it off. He called us. Oh. He called us and asked to do the show, and then he blew it off. Fine, whatever. I don't care. But
that goes to your point, though, Kenny. The fact that you'd be willing to reach out to somebody that had possibly a different point of view and be willing to have them in the studio, that's the difference between what's happening in America right now between the right and the left. You are seeing people that are not worried about what their positions are or their beliefs are, or they're not worried about actually listening to somebody that may have a different opinion. My feelings don't get hurt because somebody doesn't agree with me. It's pretty ridiculous that people won't have a dialogue and discussion. There's never a time in the nearly decade that I've had the honor of serving as the president of the firefighters here in Houston, and the third largest department in the nation, where I am worried about sitting in front of anybody and talking to them about the real issues. So the fact that you do it is exactly to the point of what we said earlier, Kenny, and the credit should go to you.
Look, I like talking to people. I don't care if people hate me. I'm an aging punk rocker who got into right-wing talk radio. I don't mind if people hate me. But all that being said, I don't think Lena Hidalgo likes us. She never agreed to do this show. Why do you think she dropped out?
I think people are scared of what it is that they don't know, and they're scared of being able to have an open dialogue because you can't stand on your record. I'll stand on my record and what I've done for the community, what I continue to do for the community, because it's about working together, and it's not about polarizing social issues that people want to make county government about. I'll sit with anybody and have an open and honest dialogue, because that's how you fix problems. If you don't admit that there's a problem, you can't fix it. And so rational leadership, being calm in the face of a disaster, and leadership, that matters.
Yeah.
And so
I tend to agree. Look, if you're just turning on your radio or just getting connected to us on social media, obviously you know who I am. I'm here right now with Marty Lancton, the fire union president, and Ethan Buchanan's in the room right now, one of our reporters from KTRH, Zoomer, young man in his 20s from our newsroom down the hall. Ethan, anything you want to ask Marty here before we run to break?
It kind of goes to public safety, and I live in the city. I spend a lot of time downtown. And I think anyone who's even so much as gone to an Astros game have seen the homeless, and it's a big issue that kind of stands at the crossroads of how do we balance compassion with public safety, and then is it really compassionate to just let people live on the streets, et cetera, et cetera. There's a million different facets of that issue, and I think one of the biggest things that people are going to be looking for in the next kind of set of leadership in the city and the county is, what are we doing about that?
Yeah.
That's a great question, something that we get all the time. Homelessness is a huge problem. I can tell you that unlike previous mayors, this mayor has not only put his money where his mouth is, but he is working with all stakeholders to address those people, the homeless encampments. And there is, listen, people being free people, you can't take away somebody's rights. However, rights should not infringe upon the safety of the citizens that are walking around downtown. And so bringing in the experts and having these dialogues, I can tell you that is something that he is focused on. But under my administration, we are not going to have and should not have families walking down the street that feel unsafe. That is not the county that I want to leave for my son, and that's not the county that we're going to do. But it takes a strong relationship. It takes a strong ties with the community, and also with those that are putting their lives on the line every day. The police officers, the constables, the sheriffs, the firefighters, the paramedics. I've been on the streets for 25 years. You have to understand how that kind of world works, and where can we put best the resources for the people that need it the most. But most importantly, you have to have a safe community. If you don't, nothing else matters.
I'll tell you what, Marty Lancton here right now, Fire Union President, Ethan Buchanan here, reporter from KTRH. If you're watching us streaming on live social media right now, don't go anywhere. We'll be back in seconds. If you're listening to us on the radio, a word from these sponsors. Don't change the channel.
Everything you've heard is a lie. Well, unless you heard it from the mouth of Kenny Webster. All facts. Even the bit about his little Kenny. Oh, sorry, bro.
Hey!
I mean big Kenny. You're
Thank you.
listening to Kenny Webster's Pursuit of Happiness.
Hey, to those of you watching us live streaming right now, quick reminder, October 5th at the Bad Astronaut Brewing Company, come hang out with me, Steve Johnson, the whole Walton and Johnson crew, Chad Prather, Jesse Payton. If you've never seen us do stand-up comedy before, we do 2 shows. One of them's couples therapy. The other is the right side of comedy that's very political. This is going to be political. It's going to be a bunch of right-wing knuckleheads making jokes about woke Antifa and that sort of thing. Tickets are available right now at wheelchairsforwarriors.org. 100% of your ticket purchase goes to paying for a wheelchair for a very worthy military veteran. Go to that website right now, wheelchairsforwarriors.org. Come hang out with us. That is my favorite charity. If you've never seen Chad Prather or Jesse or any of us do stand-up comedy, I promise it's a fun show. Drink beer, eat tacos, listen to us make fun of the left. You're going to love hanging out with it. We'll even make it fun for your communist aunt, Kathy, who loves all the cats. Come hang out with us. All right, here's what I'm trying to figure out. According to a report I just saw, reading and math scores for high school seniors have hit record lows. I thought that class of 2026 was their year. It turns out that it's their IQ range. That's a little frustrating. I know. People don't like to hear it, but I don't know if smart people and young people are synonymous with each other. Marty, you hate children. Tell us about that.
I do not. The safety of children is absolutely paramount. If we're not doing anything else in this world, making sure the kids are safe is 100% our priority.
All right, if you're just turning on the radio, I'm Kenny Webster. I'm here with Ethan Buchanan from KTRH. Marty Lancton, the Fire Union President, is here. Marty, I have endorsed you. This is a biased interview. I know most of our listeners know that. We are living at a very different time. 10 years ago, I don't think the union president for a group of government workers would be the lead candidate in a Republican primary. You are right now.
Oh, yeah.
You know, 10 years ago, I know it was a very different time, right? 10 years ago, blue-collar union guys weren't voting Republican. Now they are. Right now, it's 10 years ago, public school teachers weren't praising a school shooter on social media. Now they are. It's a crazy time to be alive. And of course, now Lena Hidalgo. Nobody thought she was going to leave. I mean, I thought when she tried to raise taxes for the second time that she was going to drop out. Why do you think she did it? Does she have higher ambitions? Why is the Harris County judge stepping down?
Well, listen, our team, at least I've been told, they didn't really want to go up against me and our campaign in the general. They know that we have developed the ties within the community. And to your point earlier, you're right. We hear it all the time. I love when people try to give like it's a bad thing that the blue-collar middle-class workers believe in the ideas of what the Republican Party stands for, a lot of them. And what the community is looking for is people that work within the community and work with the people to get things done, to identify the problems, and to stop the nonsense. And so what you've seen from President Trump at the national level, you had the Teamsters Union speak at the RNC. I would argue that there is no closer labor group to this president than our International Association of Firefighters. We work with his team to identify the issues because safety of the citizens of the U.S. and of Harris County and of this state are 100% the most critical piece to what we do with your tax dollars. And if we're not doing that, and nothing else matters.
You are obviously, but most people learn who you are because of Hurricane Harvey. They learned who you are because of our former mayor, Mayor Sylvester Turner. Fortunately, you guys and the cops all get along great with the current mayor. John Whitmire is a Democrat. Weirdly, a lot of conservatives seem to like him compared to what the other option was. The other option was Sheila Jackson Lee. Look, rest in peace. We're not like the other side. I'm not going to badmouth a dead person. I'm not going to badmouth Sylvester Turner, but we do remember what happened. We remember that you guys had an election. People wanted to give the firefighters a raise. He didn't want that, so he started threatening to fire people and lay people off. Lots changed since then. Things are very different now, but weirdly, things are kind of going back to the way they were because now that Lena Hidalgo's out, that means your opponent is probably going to be Anise Parker. I'm going to guess she wins the primary. This is a prediction.
Who knows who else is going to be in there? I tell people all the time, for us, it does not matter who it is that's running on that side. What we're running on is to fix Harris County and to move it forward and to deal with the issues that matter the most. And I would tell you that I don't think anybody on that side wants the fight that we're going to give them come November, because this is about fixing the problems, not creating more problems. And the person that you speak of is part of the political retread establishment that has continued to make this county and this city worse off. And if you go look at the record, it'll tell you there's a reason why firefighters have had to go through a decade of fighting and getting legislation at the state level and at the Texas Supreme Court in order to get first responders taken care of. It's because you have people that have no experience or just continue to run for elections with no results. And what we're focused on is getting to the people. There is nobody more grassroots, to your point, than firefighters and what we were able to do in the community. We won every single precinct in every single district because our focus is actually about fixing the problems that matter to the Harris County residents, not talking about things that have nothing to do with the role of county government.
All right, so in East Parker, it didn't feel like it was that long ago, but I guess to new residents of Houston, it was. I don't remember her being real controversial right up until the HERO ordinance happened. For the most part, nobody was ever talking about in East Parker. I mean, obviously they were to some extent locally, and then came this national news story about how she wanted transgender bathrooms, and she lost that argument. She lost that fight, but then eventually we got them under Lena Hidalgo. When you go to the parks now, you go to Memorial Park and you run around, they have this weird photo on the door of like a man with half a dress. I don't know if you've ever, I don't know why that was a priority for them, but it clearly was, till Sylvester Turner helping out his, I'm not going to badmouth the guy, but I think a lot of people would argue that to him, helping out his former law partner, getting some of these contracts was the most important thing. Moving forward now, if you're the county judge, what do you think is the next big priority?
The next big priority is to cut out the waste, the fraud, the abuse, and the corruption. I took on the previous city administration that was not utilizing your tax dollars the way they expect, and I was unapologetic about it. And I'm going to continue to do that, and that's exactly what I'm going to do in Harris County. People talk about how there's no money. Well, the reason why there's no money is because there's no accountability of where the money is and where it's supposed to go. When you pay $1 in taxes, you should know where it's going to. There shouldn't be a question. There shouldn't be hidden slush funds. There shouldn't be your friends and family getting contracts that does not benefit the Harris County residents and people that use your tax dollars like a slush fund. Yeah. That is, bar none, going to be the very first thing that we deal with, and transparency is going to be something that we bring back to Harris County Court.
All right, you're not going to be able to win this election without getting some Democrats. It's Harris County. It's Houston. Obviously, 4 years ago, Alex Mueller almost won by 1%. I would argue, to this point, that something weird happened in that election. Every polling location in a conservative part of town opened late, closed early, not enough paper ballots. We've all heard that before. Democrats still control the county. Democrats control the elections here. Even if it is a fair fight, it's still not going to be a fair fight. How do you get Democrats and independents to vote for a Republican primary winner?
First of all, you have to speak the truth, and you have to have relationships, and you have to work with the community. I can tell you, whether you're in the middle or you're middle-leaning on the left, people are tired of the status quo. They're tired of the same retreaded politicians on both sides. And what they want is somebody that's going to work with the community. There is nobody in this race on either side that has a better relationship with the mayor of the largest city in the county than myself. There's nobody that has a better relationship with the land commissioner who has endorsed me. There's nobody who have a better relationship with the lieutenant governor, the speaker's office, and the governor. What does that mean? That means that when we have a problem in Harris County, you pick up the phone and you ask for and you leverage every resource you have to take care of the residents of Harris County. That's what Harris County residents want. They want things addressed, they want things fixed, and they want people, when they say things, for there to be trust. So my history of being in the community in every direction in Harris County is critical to ensuring that people have trust in the leadership, and especially when they're leading during an emergency.
Also here in the building right now, Ethan Buchanan from KTRH News. Ethan is he's in his early 20s. He's a news reporter. He's got a podcast. You cover a lot of local stories. What do you think about what Marty's saying? What do you want to ask him, Ethan?
I love all of it, first of all. But I think just to kind of circle back to something we talked about in the last segment was Lena Hidalgo mentioned that even she couldn't afford a home because of property taxes. I'm a younger person. I'm working on starting a family myself. I'm looking at things like, am I going to be able to buy a home in the next 10 years, in the next ever? And one of the big factors is property taxes. I've kind of told myself and my wife, I don't think we're ever going to buy a home just because I don't want to pay any property taxes. But what's your message to the young people that are kind of looking at that and saying, yeah, I don't think I'll be able to get a home because of the property taxes. Even if I could maybe afford a home, it's going to be a maybe because of the property taxes. And at the same time, these young people are also, I think, increasingly looking at the nitty-gritty details of politics and noticing, okay, we do have a big budget. We do have a lot of things that we need to spend money on. At the same time, we're saying we have to cut the budget. We're also saying we have to spend more on public safety. How do we balance those two things? How do you convince young voters that you can balance those things without turning around and jacking up property taxes?
Well, what I said clearly about a month ago, and I'll say it again, hold my beer and watch this. We did the same thing in the city of Houston when they said that there was no money. Look at this, for instance, the fight that the firefighters in Houston had to go through. They said, we don't have any money. The last two previous mayoral administrations lied to the public. They lied to the public, said we can't do it. They used buzzwords, and guess what? This mayoral administration had the biggest budget deficit in history and didn't have to raise a tax one and took care of the first responders. That's exactly what you have to do. You have to cut out the waste, fraud, and abuse. You have to get in there and you have to cut all the BS and then focus on what it is that the role of county government is. And I guarantee you there's waste.
All right, let's talk about this before we get out of here. For those that don't know, bail bond reform has been a huge issue all over the country, especially in big cities. Certainly the case here. The 2019 O'Donnell consent decree governs misdemeanor bail practices in Harris County, and it's supposed to make sure that defendants are not jailed simply because they're too poor to pay cash bail. Like, that's the way the left makes it sound. Now, obviously, it's a little more complicated than that because you have a situation sometimes where dangerous criminals are arrested, immediately released. They go kill, murder, or hurt the very person that they were arrested for hurting or attacking in the first place. I think there was one case with a pregnant woman getting stabbed by the very guy that he was arrested for hurting her, got out, went back, and everybody knows that story at this point. Holly Hansen of the Texan.news reached out and she said, the question she had was, what ought to be done about the O'Donnell federal consent decree? And, what is your pathway to victory?
Well, I just left an event with this Senator Huffman, and she was talking about the very thing that they passed in the legislature, which was about the bond issue and judges and holding judges accountable. What I can tell you is that 2 cycles ago, there was a PAC, Stop Houston Murders PAC, that focused on changing out the judges and about flipping Harris County red. We had sensible judges when we had Republican judges in, and that's exactly what we have to do next November, and we've got to flip this county. Good, sensible, fair judges to flip this county and to hold the criminals accountable. Listen, I'm tired of excuses. There's a reason why the police have endorsed me. We do not sit here and advocate for the people that are perpetrating the crimes. Bad people repeatedly doing bad things do not serve as a safeguard in a safety environment for the community. They should not be released. And we've seen it far too often, and that is why during this campaign we are going to be helping the judges down ballot because Harris County's tired of this.
All right, I'm glad you brought up the thing about the police union because a few years ago, a lot of people thought Sylvester Turner, our former mayor, was pitting you guys against you specifically. That the fire union was trying to get funding that the cops wanted, and the cop union was trying to get funding that the firefighter union wanted. I think in the wake of all that, that's proven to be a lie. That wasn't actually what was happening, and I'm grateful for that. I'm glad you guys are getting along now. And obviously, with all that going on right now, there are other issues in the city, stuff that's not getting addressed. I feel like one of them is this right now. The Astros are down 1 loss to the Mariners. We are no longer in the lead in the American League West. Marty, maybe another trash can strategy. What do we do about this?
Well, let's go find some Mariners, I guess. Maybe get cork a bat for them and then call it out. I don't know. Listen, I believe in the Astros. We always come back. And I'm rooting for the team. I'm just looking at it just like you are right now. I guess we are 1 down.
I told you this the last time you were here. I was at an Astros game a month ago.
Yeah.
I saw your buddy, I like him too, Mayor John Whitmire, walking around with no security, walking around without a bodyguard, just watching a baseball game by himself, willy-nilly, Lena Hidalgo spent what, $800,000 on security? What does she spend on security?
It was a lot, yeah.
How much security will you require to attend an Astros game? How many millions of dollars?
I mean, I think you can probably akin me much to what Whitmire says. I'm going to try to duck as much security as possible. I don't listen. Here's the thing. If you're not talking to the people on the streets, if you're not accessible, then what is it that we're doing? We're making ourselves feel like we're way more important than what we really are. And what we are servants. We have to have a servant's attitude. I can tell you I'm not going to be doing this job because somehow it's anything other than a life of service that I believe in. I was instilled in that growing up. So I think I am 100% confident telling you it won't be that. So what we have to deal with is real issues affecting the community. And if you have that much security for one person, how do you think the rest of the residents of Harris County that don't feel safe, how do you think they feel?
Yeah, no kidding. The people that can't afford $800,000 for security. I'm Kenny Webster. I want to thank my guest, Ethan Buchanan. You can hear him Sunday nights on KPRC. You can hear him every day on KTRH News. Marty, if people want to learn more about your campaign, where do they go?
www.LanctonforHarrisCounty.com.
I love it. And to the rest of you, don't forget, tickets available right now if you want to come hang out with us. Bad Astronaut Brewing Company, October 5th, Operation Comedy Therapy 2025. Guys, this sells out every year. I cannot stress this enough. Every year, people ask me the week of, Kenny, can you get me tickets to that comedy show? Tickets are available. Now you can get them. Go get them. 100% of your ticket purchase goes towards paying for a wheelchair for a very worthy disabled military veteran at Wheelchairs for Warriors. I love you all. Don't forget, tune in, KPRC 950. Obviously, we're on HD FM as well, 94.53. Christian Collins joining me this afternoon, and a lot more. Don't change the channel. More on the way. Thanks so much for tuning in this afternoon if you're watching this live stream.
Late last night, after a few beers, we discovered the art of deceiving politicians. Just tell them the truth, and they'll never believe you. Kenny Webster's Pursuit of Happiness.
Jack